with us on the SportsMax Zone. We continue with football. Round 7 of the English Premier League is set for this weekend, and the computer came up with these fixtures. Manchester United at home to Everton. Norwich go to Burnley, Simon Evans' club. Southampton, they go to London to play Chelsea. Watford, they make the trip to Yorkshire to play Leeds. Newcastle go to the Black Country to play Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal go to the South Coast. Hope it's sunny. They go to play Brighton. Leicester go to London to play Crystal Palace. Aston Villa go to the affluent suburbs of North London to play Tottenham. Brentford, where they go to West Ham. West Ham is in the east of London. And Liverpool, Manchester City, Anfield, that's where that battle will be pitched on Sunday. And without question, that is the standout match on Sunday between Liverpool and Man City. City have won 3 of the last 4 Premier League titles, with Liverpool winning the other. Ahead of the blockbuster clash, the City boss, Pep Guardiola, acknowledged Liverpool as one of the teams that can thwart his side's bid to repeat as champions.
Since I arrived here in the first year, maybe not, but since after the year that we won the 100 points, that they won the Champions League, Liverpool always was there. Last season they had big problems for the many important injuries in the same position. Otherwise it would have been different, but and especially because we were excellent last season again. So the last 4 years, both teams, all the time we were there. That's why it's the biggest compliment that I think both clubs, organizations can have. That it doesn't matter what happened, all the time we're there, up there. And this is the most important thing. But Premier League, we know there are not just 1, 2, there are many, many teams that can fight for the Premier League.
Josep Pep Guardiola there. Meanwhile, Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp is hoping the Anfield faithful can help push his team to victory.
Man City is an outstanding football team. They lost now against PSG after the game at Porto. I only knew the result, and I said they probably will strike back, but I don't have to. Actually, I saw now the game, obviously, and it was a really good football game. Man City played a really good game, which I lost in 2 situations, let me say like this, or 3, 4 situations when they didn't use their chances and PSG could score. But when you think about the quality of the PSG team and then the way how Man City dominated them, that says a lot. That says a lot about the quality. So, we have to play a proper football game, I would say, to have a chance. But it's Anfield. And we are really looking forward to it.
The man who once described himself as, I'm a big effing German. You know what effing is. There you go. Simon Evans, our football correspondent in England, joins us now to preview the games and that game using his Joe Rogan microphone. Good to have you here again, Simon. Welcome.
Good to be back.
Good. All right, the big game, Liverpool, Man City. Usually, in recent seasons, at least since Pep came to Man City, the matches between these teams often end up with one dismantling the other. They're meeting at this early stage in the season, coming off contrasting results and performances in Europe. Will one dismantle the other on Sunday, or are you expecting something totally different?
I am expecting something different, because I think if you look at the previous games, there were times when Manchester City had problems in their defence. The days when Otamendi and Stones weren't really operating properly. That's ancient history now. You've got Laporte there. You've got Ruben Dias, of course, who's made a huge difference. And, of course, John Stones has rebounded his form. And then you look at Liverpool, the problems they've had last season in their defence, caused mainly by the injury to Virgil van Dijk. That's all history as well. So both of them look pretty solid at the back. But it's a tactical game, this one. I mean, it doesn't mean it'll be a boring chess match, but it's about the contrast of two very different ways of playing football, so it should be fascinating.
You know, in their game against Chelsea, another heavyweight clash, we saw Man City press relentlessly. Simon, I was watching the game and I was amazed at how the Man City forwards were flying into challenges the moment Chelsea's players won the ball in defence and were attempting to play out. They were running at nuts. They're going so hard, and they kept that relentless pace up for much of the game. That said, they still, despite suffocating Chelsea with their press, they still gave chances to Chelsea that Lukaku and company failed to put away. If they press Liverpool hard tomorrow, does Liverpool have the clinical quality in the form of Salah, Mane, Firmino, and whomever, and Jota, whomever it is that Klopp decides to put field in his attacking lineup? Do they have the firepower to hurt them in the way Chelsea couldn't?
Yes, they do. And I think if you look at that front three of Liverpool last year, there were concerns that it was perhaps past its best, that it wasn't operating in that really dynamic fashion that it did when Liverpool won the league. But I think the signs this year that back three that front three, is absolutely getting back to its best. Mane's looking sharper. Salah certainly is. Firmino, perhaps not quite reaching the levels that he can do, but he plays in a slightly different role these days, a little bit more withdrawn. Jota, of course, is an option there. So there's plenty of options for Liverpool, and they have got that firepower. The big question is, can they, if City do decide to press like that, and that's a big question, the issue is, can Liverpool play through that press? And a lot of that will depend on their fullbacks, of course, who can either be extremely deadly or can be sometimes a little bit of a worry at the back.
Yeah, and Simon, can we spend some time talking about the young Curtis Jones, who has stepped up in the absence of Harvey Elliott, of course, picking up that injury. The local Liverpool guy, you know, taking the chance and putting his hand up for his team.
Yeah, it's been really impressive from him because, as you say, Harvey Elliott was given the nod ahead of him and then picked up that unfortunate injury that's ruled him out for probably most of this season, or certainly the first half of it. And Jones was a player who there was a lot of talk about him possibly going out on loan or even being sold during the summer. But he's stuck at it. He's come in and he's playing with some real confidence. There's some swagger there in him in the last couple of games. He looks at home in that side, and he's given them a little bit of a different dimension with his ability to get forward quickly from midfield. So he's been extremely impressive.
And Simon, as a Manchester City fan, looking at how we played against Chelsea, I was extremely delighted. Now, Pep is somebody that really worries me from time to time because he tends to make these massive tactical changes when he's up against a team that looks as if they can compete for the title. Do you sense that there's going to be any massive change, something that, you know, would hit us by surprise when we play Liverpool?
There'll be some surprise there for sure. He does that, Pep, especially in the big games. And he's a manager who he's obsessed with football and he studies it extremely closely. And I think if you look at the Champions League's big games and these Premier League clashes against other teams who are competing for the title, he does things specifically to tackle that opposition that we didn't perhaps expect. So, you know, there will be something surprising, and whether it's he switches around his wide players to maybe counter Liverpool's attacking fullback, or whether he tries to overload one side. We've seen him do that against Trent Alexander-Arnold in the past, so maybe he'll try that again. But there'll be something. That's one of the fascinating things to look out for in this game. He's a real student of the game, is Pep Guardiola, and he won't be going into this just hoping it's the same again.
Yeah, Simon, you touched on it earlier on, and I want you to expand on it a bit. The way Liverpool will have to set themselves up to breach the Man City defence, because statistically Man City is the best defensive team in the league at the moment, giving up just one goal. On the other side of the coin, Liverpool have been free scoring. Forget the 5-1 over Porto midweek in the European battle, but they've scored 3 goals in every single match they've played, the 5 matches leading up to Wednesday's match. So they've scored 20 goals in their last 6 matches, Liverpool. So they're hot on scoring. But how do they breach a Man City defence, which has been very solid this year?
Yeah, I think the key area in the game is going to be in the wide areas. The two fullbacks almost up against each other. This is the way modern football's become, hasn't it? You know, and Liverpool like to double up there with Salah and Alexander-Arnold on one side, Robertson and Mane usually on the left. And City are very strong in that area, though. I mean, Kyle Walker and João Cancelo, not many players get past those two or give them a tough time. You know, the kind of night we saw Diogo Dalot have for Manchester United the other night against Villarreal, we don't see that from Walker or Cancelo. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Liverpool do take that risk of leaving themselves a little bit exposed to the counter-attack themselves by pushing their fullbacks so far forward, when they know that they're up against two extremely strong defensive fullbacks who are also capable of then turning things around and turning defence into attack in a matter of seconds in the case of Kyle Walker.
Yeah, we have a minute, we have 90 seconds left. Let me jump to Manchester United and Everton in an early game on Saturday. Last year at this time, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer complained about the quick turnaround between the debacle in Turkey against Istanbul Başakşehir and a game away to Everton in the Premier League. This time he has Everton at home, but he has the advantage of coming off a win at Old Trafford in the Champions League. Does the quick turnaround help, hinder the United team? Everton, fresh coming into the game, what are their chances like in that clash?
Yeah, it does hinder them. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this morning was talking to the media and he made a big point about this. He was asked about it, he didn't bring it up himself. But it's true. Manchester United played in the last slot in the Champions League on Wednesday night, and they're playing in the first slot in the Premier League, the early game on Saturday lunchtime Manchester time. Whereas Liverpool and Manchester City, who played on the Tuesday, have not only had an extra day to rest before the weekend, they get an extra day at the weekend because they're playing in the final slot on the Sunday. It's all because of you chaps in the television industry, basically, who want that big game on Sunday in the prime time slot. But it's frustrating for United. It means basically they don't train on the Thursday after a Champions League game. They get back together on Friday, do a bit of tactical work, and then they're into a game. So they haven't really trained properly after that match. So it is a hamper for United.
Based on your sources, and you're closely connected to the action, Simon, Rashford, is he fit enough to play a part in the game on Saturday, given that he returned to full contact training with the boys today?
I don't think so. I mean, he might possibly be on the bench, but I would be surprised at that. Although I think the fact that he hasn't been called up for England might push United, if they were in two minds about whether or not to include him. They might include him now because they don't have to worry about Gareth Southgate calling him up for the international break.
Yeah, Simon, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. All the best.
All the best. Cheers.
Good. Simon Evans there, our man in England. Break time. Back with more in the SportsMax Zone.